Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. I am Faith Kevin. Thanks for joining us. First, the headline. Governor Otti promises not to abandon road project, clarifies seaport delay. President Tinubu returns after Japan-Brazil trip. ASU VCs decry professors 525,000 naira monthly pay. On business news, government stakeholders to explore industrial policy at West African Summit. On the foreign scene, South Africa has passed a bill banning the use of mobile phones in school classrooms nationwide. And on sports, Milan leads Crystal Palace enter race for Uche. Now the news. Abia State Governor Alex Otti has assured the people of Ukwa East that his administration will not abandon any ongoing road projects in the area. This was disclosed in a statement released by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Kazi Uko. Otti gave the assurance while addressing a delegation of Ezumezu Ndoki Patriotic Association, which visited him in his office to raise concerns about stalled road construction and the proposed seaport project. He explained that construction was still ongoing on the Akiri-Kobu route, which begins from Obingwa and extends into Akwa Ibom State. He said once the road project is completed, it will terminate on the Obiohia road. Otti acknowledged initial setbacks but insisted that work is in progress. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu returns to Abuja around 1:20 a.m. on Thursday after concluding a 3-day state visit to Brazil that yielded a raft of bilateral agreements and high-level engagements aimed at deepening Nigeria's economic and diplomatic ties with South America's largest economy. The president, who arrived aboard the presidential jet, was received at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by a high-powered delegation of political leaders and senior government officials. Also on hand to welcome the president were Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin, Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, amongst others. President Tinubu's visit to Brazil was marked by the signing of 5 MOUs, Memoranda of Understanding, covering aviation, trade, science, diplomacy, and finance. In a joint press conference in Brasilia, he welcomed the imminent return of Petrobras, Brazil's state-owned giant, to Nigeria 5 years after it halted its joint ventures. Following the conclusion of its nationwide protests on Tuesday, members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities are set to hold Congress to decide their next line of action. According to reports, the federal government meets today to address long-standing agitations over the implementation of the renegotiated 2009 federal government ASU agreement, which triggered nationwide protests across universities. Earlier this year, the President Bola Tinubu administration released 50 billion naira to settle earned academic allowances owed to university lecturers and staff. However, ASU has consistently demanded clear commitments on improved salaries, conditions of service, university funding, autonomy, and a review of laws governing the National Universities Commission and the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. The meeting expected to be attended by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, the Minister of Labor and Employment, Muhammadu Megari Dingyadi, and representatives of the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, is expected to produce a timetable for signing and the phased implementation of the renegotiated agreement along with related report. Also on the table is how to phase the fiscal commitments into the national budget and produce a legally binding instrument for signature. Speaking with our correspondent, ASU President Professor Chris Pewuna said the union expected commitment from the government. Ahead of protests, ASU branches had warned that their patience was exhausted after the renegotiation concluded in December 2024 and was formally submitted to the government in February. Peter Obi, the Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, has threatened to sue Deji Adeyanju over alleged defamatory publications on social media. Obi's lawyer, Alex Ejesi-Emesan, accused Adeyanju of spreading false and malicious statements against his client, portraying him as corrupt, fraudulent, and a religious bigot. According to Obi's legal team, Adeyanju's post, which dates back to 2022, sought to tarnish Obi's reputation both locally and internationally. Some of the claims included allegations that Obi diverted Anambra state funds into family businesses, attempted to bribe Adeyanju after a private meeting, and used religion to manipulate voters during the 2023 presidential campaign. Obi's lawyers described these claims as false, malicious, and contrived, insisting there was no truth in them. Adeyanju also referred to Obi as the leader of a mob and a scum, which Obi's lawyers believe were calculated to portray him as an anarchist and a divisive figure. Obi's legal team has demanded that Adeyanju immediately delete all defamatory posts, issue a public apology across his social media platforms, and publish apologies in 3 national dailies. Failure to comply within 7 days would compel Obi to institute a lawsuit seeking aggravated damages, a restraining injunction, and recovery of legal costs. Adeyanju has responded, saying he's ready to meet Obi in court. In a post on his Facebook page, Adeyanju stated that he can't wait to meet him in court finally. The Department of State Services, DSS, and the Nigerian Army have killed more than 50 bandits and rescued kidnapped victims in Kumbashi village, Mariga local government area of Niger State. The operation followed an attempt by about 300 armed men to invade the area and attack a DSS camp. Security operatives engaged the attackers in a gun duel, forcing them to retreat after suffering heavy casualties. Several bandits reportedly escaped with gunshot wounds. 7 kidnapped victims and rustled cattle were recovered during the operation. Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Abdul Malik Mohammed Sarkindaji, commended the security agencies for the success, describing it as a major boost in the fight against banditry. Apex Igbo Sociocultural Organization, Ohaneze Ndigbo, has said that any Igbo person who belongs to a political party and wants to contest political election in 2027 is free to do so. President General of the group, Senator John Azuta Mbata, disclosed this in a statement. He said that any publication to the contrary is fake news and did not originate from Ohaneze Ndigbo and should be discountenanced. He noted that Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide is a socio-cultural organization of Ndigbo and not a political party, and is not in a position to say, dictate, or even advise on who should and shouldn't contest elections in Nigeria in 2027 or at any time for that matter. Ndigbo are advised to continue their lawful political activities in the various political parties of their choice and membership, he stated. Abia State Governor Alex Otti has praised the visions of the founding fathers of the state, which led to its creation on August 27, 1991, even as he declared that he won't surrender any inch of Abia to criminal element. The governor, who addressed Abia people in a goodwill message, said he would be setting up a new state where every resident would be proud of, and urged the citizens to support his administration in building a better future for Abia people. He warned bandits to stay away from the state or be crushed. No inch of Abia State will be safe for those who traffic in violence, according to the governor. Also, the chairman Abia State Council of Traditional Rulers, Eze Linus Ntomba, said that Abia is now much secured, developed, and cleaner under the present administration. Eze Linus Ntomba spoke on the 34 years of the creation of Abia, saying the citizens of the state were enjoying better health care and infrastructure. Eze Ntomba said that the condition of Abia State traditional rulers have been improved by Governor Otti. Our newsman observed that Abia's 34th anniversary was celebrated without the usual fanfare, as the state government did not hold any public celebration. The Gauteng High Court in Pretoria, South Africa, on Wednesday upheld the conviction and 18-year jail term of Nigerian national Chinedu Justice Obasi, who was found guilty of human trafficking and entering into a fraudulent marriage to secure residency. According to the news, Obasi was convicted in December 2017 on 3 counts and handed his sentence in September 2018. The charges included 2 counts of harboring women for exploitation and 1 count of fraudulent marriage. Court records seen by the news showed that between April and September 2016, Obasi harbored 2 women identified as Busiswe and Peleng at a flat in Pretoria, where he allegedly forced them into prostitution. He was said to have taken their earnings, supplied them with drugs, and restricted their movements, monitoring them constantly to prevent escape. According to the case filed, Basiswe met Obasi in December 2015, while Poleng was introduced to him through Basiswe in May 2016. Both women eventually ended up under the control of Obasi and his co-accused, who continued their exploitation. The fraudulent marriage charge dated back to 2005 when Obasi married a South African woman but failed to live with her, with the court ruling that the union was contracted solely to obtain legal residency. Former Rivers State Governor and Chieftain of the African Democratic Congress ADC, Rotimi Amaechi, has declared that there is no retreat, no surrender in his quest to contest the presidency in 2027 under the platform of the ADC. Amaechi, who also served as Nigeria's Minister of Transportation from 2015 to 2022, stated this during an interaction with journalists in Kano after a meeting with a coalition of traders in the state. He insisted that the ADC primary election must be open, stressing that he would not step aside for any aspirant. In an interview, Amaechi said he will contest the ADC presidential primary and by God's grace hope to win so that he can face President Tinubu in 2027. Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) in the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) has urged Nigerians to participate in the ongoing continuous voter registration (CVR) by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). In a statement, the chairman of Northern CAN, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, said voter registration remains the first step for citizens who want their voices heard in governance. He urged Nigerians to overcome doubt about the value of their votes, stressing that apathy only benefits politicians who exploit low turnout. He said that people's vote count and Nigerians must realize the real power lies in the ballot, not the money shared during elections. He appealed to INEC to bring registration centers closer to rural and hard-to-reach areas to ease the process for prospective voters. He assured Northern CAN that it will continue working with churches, civil society groups, and community leaders to ensure that no eligible voter is left behind. INEC's online pre-registration portal opened on August 18, while physical registration began on August 25 and will continue until August 30, 2026 at its 811 state and local government offices nationwide. A police officer has been arrested over the killing of a soldier in Futuk Al-Kaleri local government area of Bauchi State. The Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 33 Artillery Brigade, Atang Khaled Solomon, confirmed the incident to our reporter. He said the officer who allegedly shot the soldier dead has been taken into custody, adding that the case is currently under joint investigation by the police and the army. Khaled said discussions were ongoing between the two security agencies to ensure a thorough investigation and to prevent further escalation. Witnesses said troops of the 33 Artillery Brigade Bauchi had ordered the driver of the truck to stop at a checkpoint in Futuk. When the driver refused, the soldiers pursued and intercepted the vehicle near a bridge. Senior officials of Al-Kaleri local government, however, commended the soldiers for exercising restraint. The officials said instead of retaliating, they arrested both the driver and the Mopol officer after disarming him before transferring them to Bauchi for further action. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has called for a new process to appoint the next chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), proposing an independent screening and nomination mechanism to strengthen the commission's credibility ahead of the 2027 general elections. Jonathan, represented by Ms. Anne Ionu, Executive Director of Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, made the call in Abuja at the public presentation of the National Action Plan for Electoral Reforms, organized by the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. The intervention comes at a sensitive political moment as the tenure of the current INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, is due to expire around October this year. Under the 1999 Constitution, the President nominates the INEC chairman after consultation with the National Council of State, and the nominee must then be confirmed by the Senate. While the Council's advisory role is not binding in practice, presidents present their preferred candidates of the Council before forwarding a formal nomination to the upper chamber of the National Assembly for screening and confirmation. ComfortTV.channel news returns shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is ComfortTV.channel news. On business, the federal government has committed to exploring strategies for implementing the new national industrial policy to scale industries and transform West Africa's economic future alongside manufacturing stakeholders at the upcoming summit. The collaboration will take center stage at the West Africa Industrialization, Manufacturing and Trade Summit and Exhibition 2025, scheduled for October 2025 in Lagos. The Minister of State for Industry, John Eno, at a press conference on Wednesday, declared that Nigeria will build its industrial policy on past executive orders, targeting at promoting local content, but with a stronger push through the Nigeria's First policy. On the foreign scene, South Korea has passed a bill banning the use of mobile phones in school classrooms nationwide, joining other countries in efforts to curb social media use among minors. The bill, which will take effect March next year, bans smart devices including mobile phones in classrooms. The move makes South Korea the latest country to restrict social media use among school children, following similar steps in countries including Australia and the Netherlands. Seoul's Education Ministry said in a statement that the law bans the use of smartphones in classrooms except when needed as an assistive tool for students with disabilities or special education needs or for educational purposes. Mexican senators came to blows after a heated debate over alleged opposition calls for the United States to intervene militarily against drug cartels. Lawmaker Alejandro Moreno, leader of the opposition PRI party, went to the podium and ended and angrily confronted Senate President Gerardo Fernandez Noronha of the ruling Morena party for not being given the floor. The brawl followed a heated debate during which the opposition PRI and PAN were accused of calling for the U.S. military intervention, a claim that both parties deny. U.S. media reported this month that President Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon to use military force against Latin American drug cartels deemed terrorist organizations. For its part, Mexico stressed that it would not accept the participation of U.S. military forces on their territory. On sports, AC Milan, Leeds United and Crystal Palace have entered the race to sign Getafe midfielder Christantus Uche. Uche was early expected to join Wolverhampton Wanderers, but the Premier League club later pulled out of the deal. The Nigerian international's representatives reportedly blocked the move due to sporting and financial concerns. The decision has opened the door for other suitors. Getafe are eager to sell Uche to ease off their financial constraints. Samuel Chukwueze may soon be teaming with Nigerian compatriots at the Craven Cottage with Fulham and AC Milan reportedly in advanced talks after weeks of negotiations. The cottages presently house Nigeria duo of striker Alexi Iwobi and defender Charles Bassey. But according to Calcio Mercato, the 26-year-old Chukwueze has been in talks with Fulham for weeks, and the deal is now closer than ever to being completed. Chukwueze has struggled to establish himself as a starter since joining AC Milan from Villarreal back in 2023, making 72 appearances, scoring 8 goals and providing 6 assists. And that's our news bulletin for today. But before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. Governor Otti promises not to abandon road projects, clarifies seaport delay. President Tinubu returns after Japan-Brazil trips. ASU visas decry professors 525,000 naira monthly pay. On business news, government stakeholders to explore industrial policy at West African Summit. On the foreign scene, South Africa has passed a bill banning the use of mobile phones in school classrooms nationwide. And on sports, Milan leads Crystal Palace enter race for Uche. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews, and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any updates. I am Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed.